Hi everyone and welcome back to the Bodcast. Carrie's here and Ian is also here.
Hello.
Every time.
What?
Right, so it's episode 13.
Ooh.
Ooh. We are going to continue and do an episode 13 and not miss it out because 13 is actually my favourite number.
Really?
Yeah. Well, what do you think my favourite number is?
I don't know. 4.
Green?
Yeah.
Sure. No, I like 13 because it's my birthday. So.
Okay.
And I don't think it's unlucky because I was born.
Okay.
So, episode 13, is Lego a sociable hobby? Discuss.
No. There we go.
Oh, that was the shortest
Episode done.
podcast ever. No? What do you mean no?
I don't... So, obviously, we spend a lot of time doing Lego together.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it with your wife, is that sociable? I don't know.
Okay, how many people do we talk to on a regular basis now compared to how we used to, now that we have a Lego community to talk with?
But is that to do with the Lego?
Yes, that's our shared interest with those people.
Right, but having a shared interest doesn't mean the hobby itself is sociable.
Does it not?
Don't think so.
So if you have an interest in board games, and therefore you play board games with people, or you discuss board games with people, like, that's sociable.
But then isn't every hobby sociable?
If you are a football fan, and you talk to people about football, that's being social.
So everything is sociable?
Yes. I don't know.
Unless you're the only person in the world with that hobby.
Like stamp collecting.
Yeah.
They just sit there and play with the stamps, don't they? And they never talk about it. No one talks about
never
stamps.
talk
Actually,
about
do
it.
they? I guess, yeah. Every hobby is sociable. Train
That's it.
spotting. They all get together and have a little chat while
Yeah.
they're train spotting. Yeah. I guess maybe embroidery. Or like, it depends on the person, I guess. If your
Well,
hobby...
that's kind of my point.
Okay. So if you are doing something for yourself and you never talk about it, then it's not sociable. So people are sociable. And it's nothing to do with the hobby. Is that don't end the podcast that soon.
Oh. So obviously there are hobbies which are sociable.
Such as sports.
Yeah.
Do they count as hobbies?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So those, because you need other people to do them.
Yeah.
To,
So first Lego is sociable because we have a YouTube channel about it and we watch other YouTubers and we participate in the streams. But that's YouTube. That's not Lego.
Okay, but then Lego, they have the lugs. That's their
Yeah.
sociable aspect, I guess. So if you're part of a lug, then you're social in that respect.
Yeah.
You go along, you look at other people's builds. They have shows. You go along and look at other people's builds. You have social evenings and discuss techniques and stuff. So it's not just because YouTube.
So you've been to what, 2 Lego shows?
I've been to 2 Lego shows as just someone who likes looking at Lego models, not as someone who is building my own at home or there to display their stuff. I think if you go to those kind of shows as a displayer or someone with a table, essentially, you're going to go out that evening as a group. I think they have a social organised. Certainly when I was looking at shows recently, if you want to buy a space to show off your stuff, you'll get invited to the social as well. Okay. So they kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. So there's different levels, really. You can go and just look. Yeah. Or you can go and participate as such. And we've not really done the participating yet because we've sort of come into this post or during the pandemic where there haven't been shows. So that's something that I am actually quite looking forward to.
Okay.
Do you not think it would be fun?
I don't know. I'm not that sociable.
That's true. I always found, like, at work that I would chat about Lego. I guess with people I was already chatting to for other reasons. But it always used to seem like a fun thing to talk about. Does that make it sociable?
I don't know.
It's not something like... We build together as a couple because... Otherwise we get annoyed with each other for building. Oh, I want to build that.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it together. But you wouldn't go out and say to your friend, oh, come round and build some Lego with me, would you?
No.
Is that what you're getting at?
To do.
Yeah. Would it be a weird thing to do, or is it just sort of something... You've paid for the Legos, therefore you want the experience. Whereas if the household has paid for the Lego in a marriage, then you'll share the experience.
Maybe.
I guess you wouldn't buy Lego with your friends, would you?
I've no idea.
Okay, no.
I think, obviously, as a kid, you would play with Lego with friends.
Would you?
Yeah.
So you'd invite your friends around and you'd all play with the same Lego.
Yeah.
How would you get over the fact that people would play with it wrong? Maybe I was not very good at playing.
You weren't good as a child.
Well, I had Polly Pockets. I had a lot of Polly Pockets, and I knew exactly which Polly Pocket went with which Polly Pocket, which doll, which tiny doll, not mini dolls, went with which
Polly
compact.
With which?
Well, there's more than just Polly because they had other names.
No, they're all Polly.
It's not true. I think one was called Midge and one was called
No
Tina.
one cares. Move on.
Okay. I kind of want to look it up now. But anyway, so I knew which one went with which, and therefore playing with other people would ruin that. And I've had to get over that when I gave those to Leah lent them to Leah. Just make that clear. She's not getting them. They're mine still.
She disagrees.
No, she still refers to it as Mummy's Polly Pockets.
Yeah, she also believes they're hers.
They're not, they're mine.
Because she won't let Hayley play with her Polly Pockets.
Oh. Well, no, Hayley plays with them.
Sometimes.
It's her Lego, but my Polly Pockets. Anyway, I think I'm bad at playing with other people. Behave. But I can see how other people might be better at that.
Yeah.
And therefore it makes it more sociable.
I mean, if you imagine if you're playing with, Lego cars, then it's the same as playing with any other types of cars, really. You're occasionally pushing them downstairs and they break and you have to rebuild them. But, that's... Is
the word sociable or social?
I don't know.
No, I don't know. You are sociable. The hobby is social. Is that right? Social usually refers to a gathering of people, such as a social organisation. However, sociable usually refers to individuals who prefer the society of others.
Yeah.
Does that clarify it?
So you would go to a social, but the hobby would be sociable, I think.
Oh, it says here that social people like going out and being with people, whereas sociable people are easy for others to get along with.
There you go. So you could argue that football is a social hobby because you have to get a bunch of people together to play it.
But the people who go along to watch football might not be sociable because they might literally just stand there and watch the football game but never talk to anyone.
I was more thinking that you could say that Lego is a sociable hobby because you don't go off and play it together, but you talk about it. I feel this is a semantic discussion that's not needed.
Well, that's interesting.
Is it? Is it really?
Okay, you want me to cut this all out, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I found it interesting.
Okay.
In the end, the distinction is arbitrary and personal preference reigns.
There you go.
Okay.
Good.
Moving on.
So there are some aspects of Lego which I kind of feel are slightly more sociable than other hobbies. And you see this more on Instagram, where you're sharing pictures of your creation and stuff like that.
Yeah. Instagram has got such a vibrant Lego community, even more so than I think maybe the YouTube Lego community, because it's just full of people quickly snapping a picture of their creation and sharing it, and it just goes around and everyone's like, oh, that's really good, or well, no, that's generally, people aren't normally very mean. Whereas YouTube seems a lot different. Like, it's not as quick. It's more about reviews and things. It's not, this is what I've made kind of thing. It's less my own creations and more just, I like Lego, let's talk about Lego kind of thing. I feel like it's quite sociable, but at the same time, I think it is quite a independent hobby. Like you get it.
There are people who, particularly teenagers, it would seem, who basically have a Lego hobby that they keep completely secret from everyone.
Yeah, that's sad.
It is.
I think it's only it's definitely sad if they feel they have to. Why do people feel like they have to? Do people mock people liking Lego?
I've no idea.
I don't feel in any way ashamed of liking Lego and having as much Lego as I do. Apart from the fact that we have a lot of Lego. Like, I'm a little bit ashamed of how much Lego we have. But I'm not, ashamed of the fact that I like Lego.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, so as a teenager, I wasn't really into Lego. I don't know anyone else who was, but I don't know anyone who got mocked for liking Lego.
Mocked. Was that a pun?
Always.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, teenagers are evil.
I mean, I don't know whether this is just because of the kind of people who we see and talk to. It almost seems like it's got more of a stigma attached to it in the US. But then again, bullying has always seemed more prevalent in the US.
I think that's to do with the fact that in the US which may be a good thing, they allow people to be more individual at school and stuff. So there's no school uniform. So you can see the differences a lot clearer, and therefore it's easier to pick on people. Whereas here, we try and make everyone the same. Like, everyone's got the same uniform.
Well, I think also there's a slightly different attitude to bullying. So, most schools in the UK have zero tolerance towards bullying. And that will include saying stuff to people. Whereas in the US...
Is it just like toughen up? That's just par for the course kind of thing?
Well, a lot of it is... I remember seeing something... And I mean, things have changed. So this was years ago. Where basically, unless it's a very extreme case, a kid can say pretty much anything they want to another kid as freedom of speech. And so the school wouldn't get involved for name calling, or I think in this case it was specifically teasing a boy for being gay or for appearing gay or something like that. And they went, well, the freedom of speech says there's nothing we can do about that.
That's rubbish.
Yeah, it is. It's complete nonsense.
You are free to speak, but you should be respectful of others.
Yes.
Like, underlyingly, that's the core value is respectful, not I'll say anything I like regardless of who I upset.
I mean, also, I mean, we have obviously a very distorted view because most of our views about what happens in the American school system is through TV.
Yeah.
Whereas we have personal experiences.
It's true.
In this country.
We did both go to school. That is correct.
So, so based on that, things are going to be slightly different because TV have a tendency to exaggerate.
Yeah. I don't think liking Lego is something you should be ashamed of. Lego's super cool.
Not sure I'd go that far.
What, are you mocking me for liking Lego?
No.
How is it not super cool? What's the definition of super cool? Okay, what is super cool then?
Me. I don't know.
Surely anything that makes you happy is super cool.
So, there's nothing inherently sociable about Lego. You can order it online, you can build it in secret, you can keep it in a closed cupboard, and you still get enjoyment out of all of that.
Just sit in the closed cupboard building your Lego. I'm just picturing
you're not missing out on anything of the hobby
with the Lego. No, you're still building like the Lego experience is still being experienced. Essentially.
If you compare that to something like table tennis,
you can buy your table tennis balls in secret. You can sit in a cupboard and play by yourself. But
but it's not the same experience, is it?
Because you need a second person for table. Well, you could just go against the wall, can't you?
Yeah, but that's not really a game, is it?
But you can still improve your skills. Yeah. But then I guess the whole point of that would be to then go and play. Yeah, so you don't need anyone. So therefore, inherently, no, it's not. But we have found a lovely community that do make it sociable.
Yes. So I find people refer to the Lego community as if it exists, and it doesn't.
What do you mean?
There are groups of people who follow each other and will comment on stuff and talk about stuff. And then, some people from that group will be in another group of people who do stuff.
There's lots of sub-communities and they all like Lego, but not all of them talk to everyone else.
I don't think it's a community. I don't know.
What's the definition of community?
I don't know. A group of people with a common purpose.
And the common purpose is to like Lego. A group of people living in the same place or having a particular characteristic in common. So, people who like Lego are a community.
So you're saying everyone who likes Lego is part of the community?
Yes.
So you'd include in that the fanatical Bionicle fans?
Yeah, they're part of the Lego community, but they also happen to be part of the Bionicle community, which...
But they're not necessarily nice.
Well, they're not necessarily not nice. They just disagree with... Like, they believe...
No, I'm talking about the proper fanatics who will get very angry and will hurl insults. Those kind of fanatics.
But is that not because they believe that if you don't like Bionicle, you're wrong?
Doesn't matter what their intention is, they're not nice people. But you still encompass them into the Lego community.
So then it's not a lovely community.
See?
Well, active people, active participants.
So if you look at the 72-hour live stream thing, it's a community event. But there were loads of people in that who I have never heard of before.
Because we're still growing in our awareness of the community.
But this is what it's... I don't know. I don't feel therefore it is a community. It's just lots of groups of people who have some overlap.
Why is that not a community?
Because I don't feel it's cohesive enough to be a community. There would be nowhere to go and say, send the message to the whole community.
No, but there's the same with, like, there's nowhere to go and send the message to our local community. Everyone who lives in the place where we live, how would you send a message to each one of those at the same time?
Through the local newsletter thing.
Oh, through the local newsletter thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll ask Lego to send it around to everyone. But they, like, again, just put it somewhere on the internet. Oh, this has been painful.
Hi.
It's okay. I see your point. You're right. It is lots of sub-communities. I guess that's kind of the point of the YouTubers and things that are in LAN. They are being recognised for having a community, and so they're the point of contact for that group of people. So those are each individual communities, and a lot of those, like you say, work together, collaborate, and discuss behind the scenes or like stream together. So those are creating wider communities, but they're still little communities that have stuff in common.
Yeah. So like, I would say there is a Lego mockumentary community.
Yeah.
It's the group of us who take part on Instagram, talk in the chat during it, you know. That's a relatively small group of people, you know.
Growing.
It's growing, but it's a relatively small group of people. And then you've probably got, you know, the Emmasaurus fan base.
Yeah.
That's a bigger community. The Brixie fan base, kind of things. These are all separate communities, and there will be people who overlap between them.
Yeah, you can be members of multiple ones. But you're right, we all talk about the Lego community because generally when we find someone else who shares our interest on YouTube or Instagram, so someone who likes Lego, they're welcoming, and that gives the sense of community. I think that's what we're discussing, isn't it? We never seem to find the people on the internet who are like, no, I like Lego, but you suck, kind of thing.
No, well, I say there are quite a lot of people who say that.
Maybe you just look in the dark corners.
Well, if you ever watch a review from someone who's not in LAN, and they start talking about how they're not in LAN because people in LAN are all biased, that's not a particularly welcoming aspect of the community, is it? To go, this whole section of people, you can't believe them because they may have got the set for free.
Yeah, that's true. We do all have, like, the Lego community seems to have quite a lot of conceptions.
There's quite a lot in the Lego community who do not take kindly to people reviewing Kobe.
True. Yeah. You're right. The Lego community sucks.
Yeah.
What is wrong with them? I think it's just that the ease in which you feel like you're part of something because you have a shared interest and there are other people who will talk to you about it. That's what people think about. So that's the social aspect. You come along and you get something back.
But I feel that you lump
but yeah,
all the Lego fans into that community, and it's not in any way true.
No. Quite a lot of them are rubbish. Just like in the population, there's quite a lot of rubbish people. It's probably like the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
This group of people who like Lego...
That's what I'm saying. The
some of those are rubbish.
Say the London calling community.
Yeah.
You know, that's a group of people who clearly all have a weird sense of humour because, you know, Greg's a bit special.
We love Greg. He is special in a good way.
Yeah. But so that's a community, and I think you feel welcomed into that one. But to expand it and say, well, that applies to the whole Lego community, I think is just very optimistic.
Yeah. Still social.
Okay.
Still sociable. Whichever of those is correct.
Okay.
I'm going to say them both.
Okay.
I think...
And decide in the edit which one to use.
Oh, no, I'm going to put both in.
Okay.
Let us know in the comments which is the correct use, social or sociable. So essentially, Lego can be a standalone hobby that you can do all by yourself, but the benefits of talking to people about Lego, unless you're in a high school where people will bully you for it, which is wrong, are vast.
Yeah. And I think it lends itself, due to the aesthetic nature of the hobby, to sharing.
Yeah.
I don't know if people share pictures of stamps when they're in stamp collecting, or because surely everyone knows what all the stamps are.
Yeah, like you can put your own stamp on Lego.
But you can't put your own stamp on stamps.
Yeah, if you put your own stamp on stamps, it's no longer that stamp; it's a different stamp.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're collecting your own stamps, and that's weird. Right. On that note, I think we've concluded.
Yeah.
Right, okay. As you can see, we're getting a little bit low on ideas of things to discuss. Next week we'll be talking about stamp collecting in more detail. No, we won't. But yeah, let us know what you think about Lego being a sociable hobby, or social hobby, or either, in the comments below if you're on YouTube, or via Instagram if you're anywhere else. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will be back next week with another fun podcast.
Bye.
Bye! You said it first. Well done.